Hello and welcome back, my Royal Rogues. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue. And this time we have South Park, the American animated TV series that has roasted Harry and Meghan in such an epic way that I'm at a loss of words. But not that much of a loss, because we're going to talk about this episode and all the details that every single burn these writers and animators put into this masterpiece. Let's get down to it. For copyright reasons, I cannot show you the entire episode, but I can show you certain clips and images and, well, tell you what the episode is about. First, we have a grief-stricken Ike Broflovski, a Canadian-American living in South Park, Colorado, who watches the televised funeral for the Queen of Canada, who passed away 4 months earlier. But that doesn't matter. He wants to watch that over and over again. What happens next? The prince and his wife receive a poor reception from other attendees because they have been bashing the Canadian monarchy. And yes, the candle made a cameo right here. You're going to see that many of these scenes are just taken straight from reality. And not only scenes, but also details of Meghan that, well, you have to see this for yourself. We continue the story. Ike's monopolizing of the computer prevents his older brother, Kyle, from appearing online to play the video game Dark Tide with his friends. As a result, his friends level up without him, making him feel left out. Butters, quite out of character for some reason, tells Kyle that his problem is that he needs brand management. And pay attention to this because that will be important later on. Something in which Butters is being held by Hammer brand management. I'm not making this up. He takes Kyle there where one of the agents, Mr. Davis, suggests possible brands to Kyle, all of which include the word victim, at which Kyle expresses skepticism. It's like rock, vegan, compassionate victim. It's like what is trendy, right? And what is interesting that every single brand mix that Mr. Davis was showing included the victim at the end. It was implicit that this is something that is trendy or that works for people's brands. You know that in reality, that's how it is. The prince and his Instagram-loving bitch wife go on a worldwide privacy tour to promote his book, Wag. And this is the first clip that I'm going to show you. Very much depicts this couple.
All Canadians, that is, except for our first guest, the prince and his wife. We want privacy! We want privacy! All right, thanks for having us on the show. It's so awesome to be here. It's great.
I especially like the fact that Meghan was portrayed with, well, the dress that she used at that Trooping the Color 2018 when she was still, inside the royal family and was still a working royal if she ever worked at that at all. And of course, Harry is portrayed with his classic gray suit. It couldn't be anything else.
You've lived a life with the royal family, you've had everything handed to you, but you say your life has been hard, and now you've written all about it in your new book, Wah. So you hate journalists. That's right. And now you wrote a book that reports on the lives of the royal family. Right. So you're a journalist. We just want to be normal people. All this attention is so hard.
You can see that South Park writers are no strangers to all the ways the Montecito morons have used all kind of contradictions to put their foot in their mouth.
Well, I just think some people might say that your Instagram-loving bitch wife actually doesn't want her privacy. How dare you, sir? My Instagram-loving bitch wife has always wanted her privacy. To hell with Canada. We are leaving. We'll go find some quiet place where we can be normal people.
Well, that's how the worldwide privacy tour is kickstarted, and they begin to travel all over the world, from France to India to Australia to the United States, and especially in the United States, they begin to, make a collection of the states they have gone. And when it's the turn for Colorado, they end up in South Park, and they move right at the front, up front, Kyle's house. So the story continues. Though they say they want privacy, they spend their time loudly playing drums, setting off fireworks, and playing polo in their front yard. When Kyle is angered by how their activities disrupt his life, they scream at him that he's violating their privacy.
How many more princes and his wives have to live in this nightmare?
Hey, can you two keep it down?
Hey! You ever heard of a thing called privacy?
Yeah, nobody gives a shit. Will you two just shut up and go away?
Kyle attempts to use the rebranding techniques suggested to him, telling his friends that he is a victim and that he is working on himself, but they react with indifference. When he also complains about the royal couple to his friends at school, they point out that he is giving the royal couple the very attention they want. Interesting. This is a motive that happens in real life. Are we giving Meghan and Harry the very attention that they want? And in what way? Well, and when Kyle refuses to relent, they walk away from him. Kyle then finds the front of his house plastered with magazine covers featuring the prince's wife. And this lasted just a couple seconds on screen. This was just a flash, 2 seconds. And this was a complete mastery of trolling, because every single one of these covers that look made up at first sight are based on a real life cover of Meghan Markle. I might have missed some of them, but we have that Vanity Fair cover, and it says what the princess wants, and it also says lucky life. And well, let's be honest, she has had a lucky life, despite all her claims about having a rags to royal story. You cannot miss the Time Magazine 100 influential people, of course, with the same posture and everything. This was great. GQ is CQ hype, and right at the bottom, what should say Meghan Markle's Annus Mirabilis. This says the Princess Annus. Well, you know, oh, this was amazing. This was just amazing. They also included the Arsewives cover. This was a bit fussy, but I think this says anthology, but it was included nonetheless. All these covers were had a cover version, as pun intended, in this wall that lasted only 2 seconds on screen. Even the cut, that mugshot of evil Meghan, was included too. Newsweek, quite obscure, maybe obscure for me, but many of you already knew about these covers, but they were included. And not only those Vanity Fairs, but this from Vanity Fair was barely visible on that joke. Also, Fabulous, the same posture, the same blue, the same everything. These people did their homework well. Elle, the dress, you know, the motive of the hat is to understand that this is the same person, except in this one that South Park writers went as far as to, well, you know, imply that even in a South Park episode, Meghan copies Catherine. This was masterful. At Vogue magazine of the cover, Catherine's cover of Vogue magazine, and was included in those covers of Meghan. This was brilliant. Tatler magazine, the Variety, you know, the Variety Alien magazine cover. They did a version that was a bit more subtle, like looking to the side. Weekend magazine becomes Weekday magazine, and the Feminist issue, there it is. Splash magazine, same posture with the yellow skirt or the yellow whatever she has. The Life and Style, there she is too. Lifestyle mag, that cover included as well. I mean, magazines as obscure as you can imagine were included. That it was like, we did our homework, Meghan. We know who you are. We know that you have been pretending. We know that you are all about all this brand management and being a brand and not really being yourself. That is quite a burn. But well, exhibiting the brand suggested by Davies, that nothing bothers him, Kyle refuses to be provoked into reacting to the couple's antics. At this, the wife accuses Kyle of victimizing her because she is ethnic, a comment that comes as a revelation to the prince. The prince then tries to provoke Kyle by walking up to Kyle's house and rubbing his blue Dodger onto the window as Kyle watches television, failing to goad Kyle into responding. This was hilarious.
Hey! Have some respect for people's privacy! Hey!
That reminds me of other times that Harry has tried to use his balls to attract people's attention. Well, you might recall that too. So the next day, Kyle walks into school having adopted a new look and a more positive demeanor, telling his friends that he is carefree. So the next day, Kyle walks into school having adopted a new look and a more positive demeanor, telling his friends that he is carefree and unflappable. But learns that Butters is being beaten up in the schoolyard by Beeb Stevens after launching an unprovoked abusive tirade at her in the belief that everyone appreciates males who are strong and assertive. Well, that sounds like those hyper-masculinity influencers out there, right? Realizing that this is the result of Hammer's work, Kyle goes to the company's offices, where the prince and his wife are consulting with Mr. Davis to retaliate against Kyle, and this is the ultimate burn. He is talking to Megan, and he asks her, "Oh, you are already on the database. Let me search for you. Sorority girl, actress, influencer, victim." But victim, of course, But the best part is not that. The best part is the text that is barely visible on one side. Client number 275, whatever, Hollywood, California. Those yoga, calligraphy, cuisine, writing, lifestyle, advocating, acting, first lady botherer, lawyer pretending, blogging, and feminism. That first lady botherer was chef's kiss. These guys know what they were doing. Kyle says that when one tries to engineer the image by which others perceive them, it just makes that person a performer instead of a human being. That is a nice morale to this story, a nice lesson. Hearing this, the prince resolves to do away with magazine covers and television appearances in favor of a more normal life, realizing what is within them defines who they are, and not commodifying oneself as a product. Oh, he wakes up. I have to tell you, the animation, the timing is perfect. It's just perfect. When this gets no response from his wife, he flips open the top half of her head and inside finds only an endless chasm from which his voice echoes. The prince leaves Hammer without her. Kyle decides to allow Ike his repeat viewings of the Queen's funeral, realizing that this is who Ike is, and that he doesn't care if this negatively affects his standing with his friends. Kyle's friends then show up at his door, telling him that he could use some time outside to relieve some of the stress from the things that he's been going through. They go to the local basketball court, where the prince asks if he can play, and they invite him to do so. He sets up his drum set right on the edge of the court, playing music as the children play basketball. This, well, as absurd as it gets, but in the end, it has a brilliant message inside all this satire. They are making the point that nobody can be truly happy if you're just pretending or playing a brand or developing your brand all the time. Like, your personal brand is what counts. How others perceive you when, well, it will be much easier if you were just yourself. And yes, inside all this satire is this great message that I think they did very well. Either way, I would like to know what do you think about this in the comments. My Royal Rogues, my name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue. And remember to subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss any of my lives or my videos. Remember the two most important words? Much love and bliss.